Andy, first of all, back to the Cup this weekend. We've talked a lot about the differences between the league fixtures and the games and the results and the Cup fixtures this year.
Yeah.
In your opinion, what's been the difference where you've been, pretty successful in the Cup competitions this year, but the league form maybe hasn't reflected that? Is there any difference? What do you feel that the difference has been?
Personally, Phil, and we've had this conversation, I think that the Cheltenham performance at home was the low point of the season in terms of our performances. I think we can look back over this period of time and say in all the other games we've had moments where we've been on top. We've been on top in some of those games for long periods. We've created chances in those games. We haven't taken those chances, and predominantly when you're on top and the score's 0-0, you have to take the chances, because it then affects the rest of the game. It affects the momentum of the game. It affects what the opposition do. So when we've played in the Cup competitions, we obviously went to Mansfield in a spell where we'd not been winning. We produced a really good performance and deservedly got through. I think if you look at the previous 3 rounds of the competition, we've deserved to get through in every round of the Carabao Cup. And then we played Burton out here in the first round and played for 10 men for over 70 minutes, I think. So we did well within that game. We kept our structure. They obviously had a goal disallowed in the last minute and then went to the replay and deservedly won that game. So maybe we've had a bit more fortune in the Cup games. I don't know. I don't think you can put it down to one thing. I've got to be honest. But what we do deserve is that we're in the second round of the competition. We go to Stevenage. Having already been there a few weeks ago, we know what to expect, what we're prepared for in terms of what they're trying to do, and we're trying to get through to the next round.
Is there a psychological aspect to it where you perhaps, maybe subconsciously know it's a one-off game, so that there's a different air about it? Does that ever come into it at all?
No, I don't think so. Listen, the players, the staff, the football club, we prepare for games. We're all incredibly frustrated with the run of form we're on in the league. It hurts us. It hurts us more than anyone else, because this is our livelihoods, this is our lives, this is what we dedicate our lives to. So we're all incredibly frustrated with the run we're on. Excuse me, but we're the ones who can do something about it, and that's what we're trying every single minute to do.
You mentioned after the game on Tuesday that you'd had a lot of support from the director of football, from Carol and Kevin. Can you just elaborate a little bit on that as to what that's entailed and how they've helped you through obviously what's been a very difficult period for the football club, but also puts a lot of scrutiny on you as well?
Listen, their support for me has been unconditional since I've been at the football club in both roles, and I'm sure that Carol supports every other member of staff in exactly the same way. I'm sure Dan would say that as well. So just because we've been on a poor run of results doesn't mean that her role supporting me has changed. That she was doing exactly the same thing when we're winning games, and then she obviously wants me to develop and become the best manager I possibly can do, and when we're going through a run of results, which we currently are, she's been nothing but supportive, whether that's in face-to-face conversations, telephone conversations. She's asking, have you thought of this, have you thought of that? So listen, she's trying to make me become a better manager, and ask me questions about what we're doing, etc. But she obviously wants the best for the football club, and she wants me to be the best manager I can be.
How does the relationship work with the director of football as well? Because I think some people still aren't quite sure, what the line is as to what the director does and what the manager does in terms of both maybe the coaching, signing of players, that type of thing. So through this period, what has that relationship entailed?
Well, Dave doesn't get involved with any of the coaching of the players. That's my responsibility and the coaching staff's responsibility. The everyday running of this football team is down to me, 100%. Where our paths overlap is certainly down with recruitment and the signing of players and the recruitment of players. But again, Dave's been nothing but supportive for me throughout my whole tenure at the football club, whether that's been as assistant manager or currently as manager.
Like we talked about the psychology of it as well, and again for you, we've talked about the emotions and such, but does it at some point become a bit where you have to try and inject a bit more emotion into some things in order to get over the line in games as well? I'm trying to think, when you need the crowd behind you, when you need that type of little extra kick, is that when that emotion comes into it to try and get you over the line in games?
From me?
No, I mean in terms of the staff, the football players, the players themselves, that type of thing.
There's some things that you can guarantee from our football team, and that is that they are giving absolutely everything. They care passionately, they're working tirelessly, they care, they're frustrated, they're angry, as you would expect. It's their livelihood livelihoods as well. People are making judgments on them, but I know, having spoken to all of them individually, collectively, kept them at the football club, recruited them into the football club, that they care. They're working as tirelessly as we all are to change this run of form we're on. Do we think we're performing like a team who haven't won in 11 games? No, we're not. And I don't think we're at zero level confidence, but we want to win a game of football, and we're trying with everything we can to win a game of football.
I've noticed that Ryan Loft has been off the bench the last couple of times now. It's kind of working out, I suppose, what works better in different combinations, does it? Neither he or Uche have managed to get a goal yet. What are you working on with those two specifically to try and get them over the line? Or is that just, a different role for them to bring in other players? In other words, how do you kind of get the best out of them two when they're not scoring goals?
Well, they've both got different strengths and different weaknesses, obviously, by looking at them. But fundamentally, what we're asking them to do is, certainly when we're in the final third and the ball's wide, we have to make sure that they're in dangerous areas of the box, and that they're on the move and they're arriving into an area where centre forwards, for however long this game's been played, have scored goals, and that's predominantly between the posts. That's where they're going to get goals from. And then it's about the technical aspect of the finish. Both players have to go onto the pitch and work as hard as they possibly can. That's the basic of our team. Go and run, go and chase, go and be aggressive, go and be hard to play against. And if you continue to do that, and as a centre forward, if you continue to arrive in the right place at the right time, this should turn. It should turn for them. They'll have been through spells in their own career where perhaps goals have been hard to come from, and you've got to keep believing. You've got to retain the faith. I've got to keep giving them the faith and confidence, and asking them, are they doing all those things, the basic things that I require? And if they are, it will turn.
Just to talk more generally about injuries as well, I know there's been one or two, and I know you said maybe this point you might have another 3 or 4 back. Is there any better news on someone? I'm thinking maybe like James Wilson, Conor Grant, who amongst the first lot of that lot to get injured, so could be near the end of that rehab period now.
Yeah, Conor Grant, Kofi Barman and Dan Jones are all now back with the main group. Are all available, certainly to be part of the squad on Saturday. Are they all ready for a start? Maybe one of them, but the other two are a little bit further behind than that, but they're all part of the main group now. Willow's been back on the grass now for a few days, but he's still a few weeks away yet.
The decision to obviously be made over him in January as well, isn't there, I suppose, because of his contract and whatnot running out then. So have things kind of got started on there? I know we spoke to him personally the other week, but from the club's perspective, where are you up to with him, can you say?
No, as you just said, James's contract ends at the end of this year, and that's where it currently is.
Okay. One last thing, obviously, you look at this, you've got a really big fixture list coming up as well now. The injury list will probably help, I suppose, with clearing that up. Will that make you, give you obviously a better selection, but will it also maybe feed into that competitiveness of the squad to, for the competition for places?
Well, the injury list will clear up if no one else has been added to it.
Right.
And as I've said to a group of the players this morning, I think we were at our best when we had a full complement of players, when there was everyday competition for places Monday to Friday, and then Saturday becomes much easier when you're in direct competition with someone for the place in the team, for your position in the team. That makes things more difficult for me in terms of making the right selection, obviously, but I think it increases competition for places, and the sooner we get back to that position where the majority of the squad are available, the better, in my opinion.